live in about a minute. People can hear but can't see you.
What's up, everybody?
The famous danger zone.
Danger zone.
So what do you like? We can't be identified.
Says the one with the accent.
Yeah.
I think if we've established anything in the last few sessions, it's that I cannot do any sort of accent.
Oh, come on now. Your little Timmy is fantastic.
That's one word for it. There's
Cyberpunk Uncensored.
Just doing the Twitters.
All right, you're live. Everyone can see you.
Ooh, you poor people. Hey everybody, welcome to our latest and very late game of our Cyberpunk RED series called Choombas. So I am Matt, aka Reservoir Panda, and I've been running these games when they've been happening. We have had something of a hiatus due to technical difficulties which were interrupting us. That should all be smoothed out now, so we should be back to a regular weekly schedule. Thank you for sticking with us and for coming back. So let's get the usual things out of the way. First of all, the content warning, because the world of Cyberpunk RED is not a nice place, and neither is the inside of my head. So my players will be dealing with unpleasant people who do unpleasant things and use unpleasant language. We are not in any way endorsing that behavior, but just be aware that it may be discussed without going into overly graphic detail. We're obviously streaming this on the Cyberpunk Uncensored channel, run by the amazing Rob and his 970 hours of work per day. We've got some brilliant sponsors who help to make that happen. There is Sirenscape, Roll20, Level Up Dice, I think, Frag Maps. There's a whole list. Go check out the Cyberpunk Uncensored webpage, Discord. All the links are below. Find out all the information you want there. You will also probably note that the team, which I don't think has a name, so Team Choombas for now, until they pick one, is a little short on players, which has been one of our other issues getting started. Obviously, everyone is grown up with their own lives and their own responsibilities, so things happen, schedules change. This is the world we live in. So we may be short a couple of people while we wrap up this season. We are coming to the end of. There is a story arc behind this, believe it or not. You'll know it when you see it. But we're drawing to the end of that, and so we're gonna wrap up this storyline in the next few sessions. How many sessions exactly depends on the players, because I'm big on player agency, which is absolutely shit for Rob's scheduling, because I can't tell him when the season will end. So apologies. But yeah, we will be drawing this storyline to a close, and at that point we'll then be considering we'll be going straight into a season 2, but potentially with some new additions to the team. So if playing Cyberpunk RED is something that you want to do, then get on the Discord, and announcements will be forthcoming in the near future. And you too could be here making a fool of yourself on the live internet. So, I think that's everything that I have to say. I'll do a little bit of a reminder of where we're up to. But first off, if we can go around and the two players that we have tonight, if you can introduce ourselves. So, first of all, we have our getaway driver extraordinaire, Salvo. Who are you? What do you do? What does your character do? Oh, we.
He's muted, I think.
Are you muted? Yeah, you muted, dude. Okay. Here we go.
Oh. Okay. Cool. So, yeah. So, are you wanting a full character background or?
Just a quick little overview. Who is your character? Remind us, because we've all been away for so long.
Okay.
Who are they? What do they do?
Okay. Slavo is my guy's handle, I guess you could call it, and he's a nomad who nobody really knows why. He doesn't really talk about it, but he's not permanently banned from his nomad clan, but they've kind of told him to go hang out by himself a little bit at the outskirts of town. He doesn't really talk about why, and nobody's really asked him, but basically he's been doing courier jobs on a motorbike around town and decided he needed a little bit of extra cash and signed up with you guys.
Okay, so Nomad on a timeout. Thank you very much. And Burrows, who are you? Who is Locke?
So I play Locke. He is a tech. He grew up in Hong Kong before the fall of Hong Kong turned into Ghost or Plague City or whatever it is. We haven't learned too much about him, but he has some kind of relationship with a very mysterious person that's been kind of giving him, I don't know if they're orders perhaps, but he's working for currently. And he's recently arrived in Night City and is attempting to put a crew together the best that he can for a mission that he hasn't been told of yet. But he's got a good group of Choombas and has been having a good time so far in Night City. He's only been here for a few weeks. So
Awesome.
all sorts of craziness.
Cool. And last time that we were here, many, many moons ago, the team had been spending some of their hard-earned eddies down at the night market, or the midnight market, which was arranged by their landlady, Mrs. Hahn, who's also a well-known local fixer. So they'd been going and loading up on guns, gear, some fashion items, random tech bits and pieces which caught people's eyes, handing over loads of cash to some crazy old fortune teller with who knows what results, and encountering lots and lots of people with various bad accents. As things were coming to a close and their shopping outing was about to end, there was a rude interruption at the market. Lots of sounds of gunfire, explosions, groups of engines from multiple directions. The group got split up, trying to ascertain exactly what was going on and make sure that they dealt with the threats, because they wanted to, one, make sure innocent people weren't getting killed, and two, make a good impression in front of their fixer, landlady. I wouldn't say boss, but someone who's been passing them a lot of work and who may not appreciate her night market being ruined. So Locke and Hiles split up and dealt with a couple of the threats that were presented there, one of which was a serious attempt to carry out it can't really be called anything other than a massacre. Some of these armed thugs had used their vehicles to pen in a bunch of civilians and were getting ready to mow them down when they were rudely interrupted by Locke appearing, popping up over the buildings in an armed AV-4 and gunning them all down like the dogs that they are. So that went surprisingly well. So our techie there is very handy with a heavy machine gun, we now know. And at the
lucky,
pretty
one or
much, yeah, and pretty much the same time, or slightly before, Heil, our resident solo, who isn't with us tonight, was off dealing with what seemed to be one of the actual main objectives of this incursion, which was Mrs. Hahn's niece, Sally, who was being pursued, and she'd hid herself away in the storeroom of a shop and was being pursued by goons sent there to, we don't know whether it was to eliminate her, kidnap her, but they certainly didn't seem to have good intentions. But a well-trained solo soon made a mess of their plans and their faces, and prevented that as well. Everybody having calmed down a little, they made their escape with the threats seemingly dealt with, and those bad guys that hadn't been killed losing their appetite to fight very quickly when they saw how fast some of their forces had been taken down, including potentially the person who was paying them. So there goes their motivation. So everybody rounded up and headed back to base, back to their little hideaway. And there it was revealed that the person leading these unexpected thugs was in fact a guy called Michael Chow, head goon for a local triad leader known as Young Ray Han, also known as Mrs. Hahn's brother and Sally's father. There was a long spiel of expletives and anger from Mrs. Hahn, which culminated in her snapping. And she made an on-the-spot decision and told our group of Choombas that she wants her brother's head within 7 days, and there is a very big prize for doing so. And if she doesn't get it, she'll just outsource it to an outside professional. But she is sick of his shit. There's obviously some backstory there, but she didn't give the full story. But there is obviously bad blood, and this is the culmination of it. Trying to harm or kidnap her niece and trying to ruin her business was the last straw. So she wants him dead, and she ain't up for arguing. So that is where we left off. Now, that was, I think, about 5 weeks ago now. So it has been a while. And in the meantime, everyone at that point had split up and gone to variously discuss what Mrs. Hahn had just said, and discuss the morality maybe of whether they took straight up assassination work.
Yeah.
Or whether this could be justified under self-preservation and self-defense and whatever else they want to argue it for. And maybe people went to lick their wounds a little, because people did get a couple of scrapes along the way. Nothing serious, but Black Plague, the resident medic, went and patched those up. So we pick up really on the following morning. This was early hours, maybe 2-3 a.m. by the time that everything had been resolved. So everyone's had the chance for a couple of hours sleep if they want it, and that's where we will come in. Now, when people wake up, Heil has already started organizing things. With such an overt attack, he has not rested. So he's had Black Plague organize his supplies and equipment and make more of a med bay rather than the tiny little makeshift clinic that he had. So they've taken over one of the living areas, the main living area on their floor, to convert it in case there's an attack on the building. So they've been busy on that. And he's also having Hijack deal with the security system, the electronic security system for the building, of which there wasn't much to speak, because Mrs. Hahn is a sensible businesswoman, and while she has her own devices protected, the building was a residential building, and she didn't feel much need for it to be that secure. Suddenly, those needs have changed, and she's piled in some cash and is having Hijack upgrade the electronic security. This has happened, and you guys wake up at whatever time you wake up at. What is your natural course of action?
I mean, as with it seems to be all, things happen. I'm going to head down to, I guess, to the bar, kind of the living area bar space, get some food, and see if I can find Sally there.
Sally is there. She seems to be there pretty much all the opening hours, which is a ridiculous amount of time, but it's her business, it's her baby. You might think that she'd been a little shaken from what happened last night, but quite honestly, if you hadn't seen her last night, you would never know. You walk in the door and she has the same bright customer service fixed smile that she delivers every day to every person, no matter how much of an asshole they're being, and she is there looking absolutely fine. Greet you with a, hey, good morning.
I probably should have mentioned as I was going by, I'll probably knock on Salvo's door and whoever else just to see if I can get the crew to come down.
Yeah, most people are already up because Heil is, as I said, a bit driven on this. You get the feeling he doesn't like the idea that the place he's calling his home base at the moment could potentially face an attack. There's no direct indications that they're going to attack here, but he doesn't feel secure enough anymore. So he does have Plague and Hijack. Those guys haven't slept. He's happy to. He's actually put in some of his own money and said, "Look, you guys just work until we're set up with these things. Then have your rest, and I will kick in some extra cash for you." He's a little bit on the paranoid side about his security, as many solos seem to be.
Okay.
Slavo, on the other hand, may or may not be in. You tell us.
Yeah, probably I didn't stay there the night, but I'm rolling in the morning, and so I'm probably there.
Okay.
Or we could say I'm just showing up.
Okay. I'll kind of nod and say we got some stuff to talk about, sounds like. I'm going to try to get some information from Sally if you want to join me at the bar. Figure that's probably where she's at.
For sure. How did the shopping go at the night market?
Not good. I was kind of expecting something to happen, just to have a night market in the middle of the street, kind of like she did. And sure enough, it was ambushed. But it turns out that we might have got ourselves in some kind of a family dispute. Looks like Mrs. Hahn's brother, who is Sally's father, tried to kill them both, or at least kidnap them or do something. So smear their name. And Mrs. Hahn lost her cool. I've never seen her like that before. And she's issued a hit on her brother and have asked us to take care of that. I'm not accustomed to wet work. It's not really my thing. I don't really consider myself an assassin. It's not really. I don't like get my hands dirty like that. But I want to find out more about what's going on. I don't know if what kind of experience you have in these matters, but they tend to get a little bit too messy. I'm not a murderer, or at least try not to be anyway. So.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I'm a package delivery man. I'm not one for going around and just offing people for pay. There's got to be a real good reason.
Yeah, so maybe we can find out a little bit more about what's going on. It looks like, from what I've seen, our buddy Scrag is getting set up. Heil, excuse me, is getting set up. For a possible incursion here. So I probably keep your guns close, kind of stay on your toes, keep your head on a swivel, and who knows what's going to happen here in the next few days. But we got Hijack working on some building security for us too, to try to shore up this place a little bit more. So,
all right.
Where you been staying, by the way?
Oh, I got a shipping container I sleep out of that I rent. It's nothing fancy, just on the edge of town.
Well, it's good. It might come in handy. Who knows how this is going to go? We might need a place to lie low if shit hits the fan here. So,
yeah, it's got plenty of room. So, just not much in the way of furniture. So, bring your sleeping bags.
All right. Well, so I think Sally's on the bar. I'll go down and check her out.
All right, I'll join you.
So I kind of nod at Sally when we come in, and I kind of get a seat at the bar that's away from everybody else, and obviously with Salvo, and kind of wait for Sally to come by.
Yeah, you nod at Sally. She gives that nod and bright smile back. Absolutely no sign of anything wrong there, but that's a practice thing. So after a minute, the place isn't busy, so she comes out. Hey, morning guys. What can I do for you? Drinks, breakfast? What are you in the mood for? Have you been up all night like those guys?
I guess I got a little bit of sleep. I didn't really know what was going to be happening here in the next few days, so I thought I should get some while I could. Looked like Heil was taking care of some things with the rest of the team, so someone's got to have their head on their shoulders, I guess.
Okay, so gallon of extra strength espresso then.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I thought I know you kind of oversee this place, but I obviously want to have some discussion with you. I don't know if it's quite appropriate for the bar. Do you ever get a break? Do you ever get any time off?
Oh, you say some funny things, Locke. And it's not like there's anyone else here at this time. So if you wanna chat, we can do that. And her eyes sort of almost glaze over for half a second, and you hear thunks and swishing sounds from all around the room, and suddenly the doors lock themselves and security shutters drop down over the doors and the windows, and it's all we're private now.
Come in handy later. Why don't you join us for that coffee, and I'll actually, if I'll be so bold, if I know where she kind of keeps it, I like to go around and just make the coffee and say, "Sit down, I can get this for you."
She more than happily lets you do it. She's like, "Hey, that makes a nice change. Thank you." Takes a seat and waits for you to come over with it, smiling away, all pleasant. And again, you'd never guess that last night and at this very moment her life may be in danger.
So I'll grab the espresso and also grab some kind of synth whiskey, something like that too. Bring it over to the table and pour her a glass and one for our nomad friend, and I'll pour a little bit of whiskey in mine and set the bottle on the table.
Yeah, it's most of the stuff that they have there is going to be synthetic. It's obviously not natural whiskey. She may have some of that stashed away, but that's not on display. But it's the nicer end of synthetic.
So I mean, I know it's not really our business, but we can't help but seem to get involved in some of the family matters that have been going on. And I can't imagine how you feel with your father being involved in something like that. Do you mind telling me a little bit about your family? Like, how did this happen, and where, it seems pretty dire if he's looking to get you taken off the streets like that.
And she visibly like deflates a little. Like Sally is perpetually cheerful. She's the happy face of the bar, and just with everything locked down and with only the two of you there, you see that facade drop, and she's just, yeah. You can't choose your family, And I was... Fuck it, you'll find out anyway. I was born into a family with some pretty big expectations. And because my dad is an asshole, I don't meet those expectations. I didn't want to anyway, but regardless of what I want, he wanted certain things from me that I just couldn't be, and he sees it as the only way to maintain his control on his family business, aka being a criminal scumbag, is to either get me to snap in line or to get me out of the way. Because he's all about tradition and, oh, you have to honor your family name and it's been done this way for thousands of years and blah, blah, fucking blah.
So I've had some run-in with the triads, but specifically in Hong Kong. How big is her family? Have I heard of them before? Are they like a world organization, or are they just like a little slice of scum in Chinatown, or like what's the deal with them?
See, I don't think there's a knowledge skill relevant to this. You have some sort of local knowledge, though. Yeah.
Yeah. You gave me like the city for South Night City, and I also have like Streetwise or something maybe.
Yep. Either one of those. Roll away.
Okay.
And of course, you can as well if you want, Slavo. See if you know anything.
Oh, I have a local expert Hong Kong too. That's
Well, let's start with the yeah, let's start with the local ones for here and see. Let's go from there.
Always trying to find stuff on these character sheets.
I know there's so many. Like it's awesome having that many skills and being able to diversify your character that much. But it does sometimes make finding things when you need them not that straightforward.
Personal.
I have local expert highways of the Southwest, so I don't know
Hey,
if
you know what? You know what? Give it a roll.
All right.
Because this is a criminal organization. They may well want to get stuff or whatever commodities it may be from place to place, and no matter how they do that, this is the time of the red, baby. Ain't no FedEx doing it.
Well, I got a 15.
Right. So, did both of you have heard of the? Han is a relatively common sort of Korean and Asian family name, anyway. But now that you've had the link made directly to this guy is in organized crime, it's that Han. So Locke, you know little bits. You definitely know that they're a thing in Night City, and that they make themselves out to be a bigger thing, but you're not sure. You're not really sure how much of that is just show and bluster, and how much of it is genuine. Because one of the problems with the lack of interconnectivity in this time is that you don't really know if someone is big in Scandinavia or big even on the next county over, because there's not that connection there. You've got like local social networks, but unless you're really you have connections in a certain area, it's hard to judge how much is bullshit and how much is true. Slavo, you have more of an idea, because prior to your being asked politely to step aside for a while, you actually ran, maybe not yourself, but your nomad pack family, whatever they like to call themselves, actually did have a few jobs, not necessarily moving anything for the Hans, but making sure that things were allowed to move, so their vehicles would be given safe passage through territories, and maybe either just with agreements that you wouldn't attack them, or sometimes serving as escorts, depending on what it was. You got the impression that from what little you remember, they were moving big containers, and you don't think it was anything like, if it was something like electronics, then those containers would have been corpo level enrichment. Your experience tells you, with the number of stops that they made and the supplies that they carried, they were probably people. So they probably move people from place to place. Whether those people want to be moved is anybody's guess. But yeah, you know that while they're not one of the biggest organizations, they're definitely a known family. Triads is sort of a misnomer in these days now as well. It's a title that they keep because it has sort of old world gravitas attached to it. But really, there are any number of various Asian culture based gangs which will call themselves one of the triads, or they will say that they're a member of, and there are so many. They tend to stick to or be based around family units, but then they're not very strict on their other recruitment policies, so they will recruit whoever's useful to them. So they doesn't matter what background you come from. if you're the right sort of criminal that they need, and you prove that you will do what they want for money, and out of fear and stay in line, then they'll take you. And
So it's
that's
not like
that's sort of
not
the
like
extent of what you know.
So not like the real triads back in Hong Kong. There's actual like structure and like
Yeah, there's
hierarchy and
there's varying degrees of. Some of the families take it very seriously, and some don't, and some just use the name completely, and there's some stick to it absolutely rigidly, but they're a tiny minority, and then there's everything in between. And there's often much more of a show made to outsiders that they're sticking to their old traditions and everything else than necessarily is adhered to within. It's like think of it like, members of certain religions who will consider themselves very devout, but then they will also drink and have tattoos and other things that theoretically they're not supposed to. And this is the same sort of thing. It's outwardly they make a big deal about how important the tradition is. How much individuals stick to that is very much different person to person and family to family. So yeah, she looks a bit downcast and looks at her coffee. Just look, I'm the last person to defend my father. He does terrible, terrible things, and if anyone deserves what my aunt has asked for, it's probably him. But at the same time, I don't. He's still my father, and I don't want anyone dying because of me.
have you ever thought about leaving? I mean, it's a big world out there.
He'd find me. I'm safer here with my aunt than I'm ever going to be out there. And
So I mean, if you got up and left and went to Hong Kong, you think he'd really follow you that far? I mean, we talking to some guy who's running some streets here in Night City, or has he got a lot longer reach than that? Like, how far does his influence go?
I'm not even sure it's about influence. I think it's about obsession. What he did last night doesn't make sense. Like that's not good business practice for anybody. That must have been insanely expensive. I presume it was even more expensive if he paid off the NCPD and everybody else. And if he didn't, then he's now on their shit list too. And if anything, you would think he'd try and take over Juliet's business rather than just wiping out. But rational is not the first word I would use to describe him. But I'm not the son that he wanted. So
Can I make a human perception roll to see if she's holding anything back or not telling us the full story?
absolutely, go for it.
It's a 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a 10's quite reasonable. You don't get any. You think there are definitely things she hasn't told you yet, but it's more a matter of. It's not that she's lying about anything. You don't think there's anything she said that isn't true. You just think maybe she doesn't want to. She's already sharing a lot, and maybe she doesn't want to sort of unburden her entire soul unnecessarily. She's trying to work out where the line is, what information she needs to. She's clearly working up to something, and trying to work out exactly how much information she has to give you guys and how much she has to open up for it to be a reasonable proposition to you.
I'm going to talk with her a little bit. I'm going to try to use my conversation skill. And I'm going to say, trying to do it in a way that makes her feel comfortable talking to me and say, so, tell me a little bit more about your history with this person and some of your past dealings. Just to see if I can get more info. And I got an 11.
Okay.
Mind if I participate in that with you,
Go
Salvo?
ahead.
Go for it.
There we go.
So between the two of you, you're able to get her to open up a little. And she starts going into, she explains, you've heard little bits of this before, but from a very young age, about the age of 10, she has lived with her aunt rather than her father. And this probably hasn't been touched on, but essentially her father's main problem comes from the fact that she was born physically as a son, and because of his, let's say, old-fashioned views, that means that the fact that, whatever her feelings on the matter were, whatever her actual nature was, that means that she is his son, and she will have to inherit the family business, and there is no negotiating on that, and she will do as she's told. And that clashes massively with who she is. And this all came to a head when she was age 10, and her aunt took her away because she has a separate independent business, because their family is not very big on letting the women get involved in the business. So she runs her own operations separately. That's become something of a generational tradition in their family now that is sort of ignored by the official family business, because they have very, let's say, willful is probably not the right word. It's probably a very outdated and old-fashioned word, but that's how they would phrase it. That they have a history of willful women, and they sweep it under the carpet and just let them get on with their silliness while they run the real business. Never mind the fact that the women of the family might actually be significantly more successful than them with less backup and resources to support them. So yeah, he wants his son either back, or if his child were to be deceased, then he would be free to choose a successor according to their traditions from among his whoever he wanted, his henchmen, or whoever he picked.
Okay.
But that's where the problem lies.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I have one idea. I don't know what you think about this, Locke. What if we could somehow fake Sally's death?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I have a way I have someone who might be able to help us get them out, but we also have to assume or get them to agree to this. But I actually happen to know someone who's pretty good at smuggling people in and out of the city in some respects. I haven't actually tried to do it with a live person before, but I mean, you may have some context in that regard too.
Does that mean you smuggled non-live people out of the city?
Sort of
Yeah,
AI specifically.
oh, okay. It's like, maybe you don't want to tell me. Maybe I don't want to get into a situation where I'll be incriminating myself. So maybe you shouldn't tell me that.
No, it's. I mean, it's. I think you might have been driving part of it. So.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so right now we just want to get her out of the city.
Well, that's assuming. I mean, I'm looking. I'm going to look over at Sally and say, I mean, we can probably get you two out and fake some kind of death. I mean, but I can't force you to take that option. Is that something that you would consider? I mean, do you think this is really going to end if we kill your father? As if the way Mrs. Hahn is asking right now.
It's a good thought. Yes, I do believe things would end if you were to kill my father. But I can't ask you to do that. And in fact, that's not even the right way to say it. I would ask that you do not do that. What I would say is that there must be a way to get him out of the city, to get him neutralized and no longer accepted, that doesn't involve ending his life. He is the worst person I've ever known. There must be something that can be done, whether it's through the authorities, whether it's through his enemies, of which he has many, whether it's through his own misdeeds, that the things that he calls an honor code, yet disregards on a daily basis himself. Whatever it is, there must be a way to get him out of the picture, and if there's no position for me to inherit, if he loses that leadership, then
Oh,
Do we might have having a little blip here. Oh, looks like something happened with my
oh.
camera. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
What happened there? Camera might have overheated, but let's see. Try that again here. Oh, okay. It should be back. I hope.
Yeah. I see you now. Huh.
So what have you been up to in the city the last few days? Have you trying to think when the last time we had you along for one of our rides here?
The last time, I'm trying to remember. There was like a firefight across. There was like a couple different buildings. I was driving around shooting out of the van, and then like somebody ran into a building and somebody chased them. It's like the last thing I remember.
Okay, I think that's when we were trying to think. It's when we extracted somebody, or we went back to do some of the brain dance with the Highlanders. Yeah, there's we had found out that there is some kind of military organization that is taking people, and we're not sure who, but I'm guessing it might. We learned is actually a police officer. Were you around for that? For when we found the AI who happened to be a cop?
No, didn't know it was a cop.
Yeah.
Was
So
that the same AI we saved instead of destroyed?
yeah. So it turns out that she was a member of the Night City PD, and she was in the process of applying for the special operations team, Max Tech, and she had been applying for this and basically signed off some waivers, which actually included something for her body to be used for science in case she happened to die, something like that, some kind of insurance, whatever thing. And so she was basically killed, and then turned into, brought to this facility and turned into this strange AI as part of this experiment. And I'm guessing that 2 or 3 other members of her team who also had disappeared might have been subjected to the same process. And we had learned that seems like they were operating out of this facility that was at a local pub or cafe, something like that. It's kind of a black operation below deck. And at some point, it's going to be something that I want to look into. But I might have let some of the other Choombs who we've been working with know that I'm kind of looking at liberating some more of those AI when we have the opportunity, but we haven't quite had the chance yet, because shit has literally hit the fan. It seems, but it looks like Panda's back. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that. As mentioned, the technical difficulties we were having are not completely gone, but at least now they seem to be few and far between, and at least
Short.
very limited in duration. So,
Yeah,
that
great.
will happen. And Locke is very good at taking over and continuing the conversation, which I appreciate, man.
No problem. Yeah, I noticed we had some people in chat who's been asking about it. So, so it's not faked paperwork. It was basically contract, contracts that she had signed, as part of the application process of becoming Max TAC. And her sergeant was the one who gave her the paperwork to sign. So it may be that he's involved unknowingly or knew what he was signing her up for. So it seems like that somehow this NCPD is involved in providing this military corp who we couldn't figure out who was, no matter how much I tried, into having these guinea pigs for this advanced AI. Basically, they're trying to take these bodies and impregnate them with AI that's ripped from somebody else and turning them into like some kind of military killing machine. So all that has been going on. We haven't had a chance to address it yet, but at some point hopefully we'll get back to it. And it's a lot of tech that I want to get my hands on the bottom of that black site. So
Okay.
so that was something that missed out on. It sounds like, but hopefully we'll have a chance to figure out more about that.
Yeah, this is the downside to having so much player agency and so many story threads. It's down to you guys what you pick up on and what you follow and when. So that is all sitting there waiting.
So I'll look over at Sally and ask her if she can give us some more information, about the activities that he is involved in, and see if anything I'm aware of. But basically, just try to learn as much as I can, try to figure out some kind of connections or who the enemies of him might be. Basically, I'm looking for like a rundown of the organization and as much as information she can give me, because we want to try to help them, but we we need more to go on. We can't just show up in an alley and shoot him and call it a day. And I don't even know if that would work too. Especially if the organization's still intact. It could be one of his fanatics that pick up the mantle and still want to get rid of you because she would still be a threat to that organization at that point.
She nods and thinks for a second. There's only so much information that I have, because obviously I have nothing to do with that part of my family anymore. Some of it there are bits that I hear, and there are bits that are probably the same as they were back when I was there. I can tell you what I know. I think he's, I want to say, on wife number 4 now. He seems to go through them quite quickly since my mother. So yeah, she's possibly an area that you could prod at, because he doesn't seem to have the most discerning taste, shall we say. So who knows what the situation is there. If you can find an in with any of his sort of household staff or employees, he abuses them terribly. So I would imagine getting one of them on board to help you is almost certainly within the realms of possibility. I know he has he runs the family under the guise of being a real estate developer, which is ridiculous. They have. I don't even understand the choice of business. Like they're supposed to be a real estate developer, but they just buy into other people's projects or provide protection for them. They're not. They don't build anything. They have warehouses and they have vehicles, and they have no construction teams and no property managers. And no, if this city were any less corrupt, there's no way that could be seen as a front business. But it appears that as long as they put the money through the books, that's all that matters to anybody. No one takes a second look at this real estate developer that have never bid for any business or placed adverts or got any contracts with anybody, yet still have nice shiny offices and do unspecified things with a large number of staff there. I can tell you where he lives if you wanna go delving into the Corpo zone, and if I wanted to speak to you guys anyway, because I get the feeling you two are maybe less likely to be on the gung-ho, yeah, let's bring his head back on a silver plate persuasion. To correct me if I'm wrong, but that you just don't seem like those kind of guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we could keep Heil from diving if he got a lead. That's kind of what. I mean, that's why we have Heil on our team, but I don't know if that's exactly what you want to do here. I mean, we could definitely be good to know where he's at. Maybe a list of his offices, if you happen to have that. Any of the holdings, warehouses, and his known associates. If you can send that to my agent, it would be helpful. And I don't know how helpful Mrs. Han might be with this, but would she perhaps know more information about, keeping tabs on the organization? You know her better than I. Does she just want him killed, or is she up to having him ruined and maybe sending him out in a box somewhere?
My aunt has been pushed to the edge by my father. She's a very reasonable person, and she's a very business-oriented person, but this has gone beyond her tolerances. So I would rather we kept this between us. I think if you find a way to eliminate the threat to get my dad run out of town, then I think when that happens, she will accept and probably be grateful of the situation. But if we were to present it as an option, she may dig her heels in and just double down on the kill order. Or decide that she's not going to leave it with you at all and go straight for an outside contractor.
Well, then we'd be on the clock. So we're. I also don't want to make an enemy of Mrs. Han either. I think we have a case for not just killing him and leaving the organization intact, because I really do feel if he's bred this organization around this whole idea of you not inheriting everything, and then if we take him out and somebody else takes his place, they're not going to want you around either, I would imagine, because you are the firstborn. So as long as this organization is around, whether he's in charge or not, I think your life is always going to be threatened. I think our only really choice in this case is, even with Mrs. Han wanting him dead, I think the organization itself has to kind of fall by the wayside. What do you think, Salvo?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good assessment.
She kind of nods along and just, yeah, you seem. See, I knew you'd understand. Just she'll get it after the fact. This is one of those better to seek forgiveness situations, and I think in the long run she will appreciate it, because she doesn't. If she took killing her own brother lightly, she would have done it a couple of decades ago. I think the fact that he's still alive now means she really doesn't want to take this step. And if we give her an out, there may also be an element of just appearance. All those hired bodyguards that she had to pick up on the fly when shit went bad yesterday, they were all around. She has a reputation to keep up. And if she sounded like she was being soft to someone who had just tried to kidnap her niece and destroy her business and kill her customers, destroy her entire name, how would that look? But if we do it and then present it to her after the fact,
well, I think it might even be better in this case, not to interrupt you, Sally, but perhaps if we, not only get this guy off, but destroy his entire organization as well. It's even worse than, it's not just him we took out, it's his entire organization. I think that might be a little bit more valuable as a message to her competitors not to mess with her. So that's a lot of work. And we're going to need some place to start. And I think maybe with some of his competitors, you mentioned you might have some enemies that might be looking to acquire some more business. I mean, I'm not particularly fond of these organizations, but I've worked with them quite a bit in the past. Is there anyone you can think of that would be eager to have an opportunity at acquiring some of the assets that he's acquired?
She thinks for a second, and she just, to be honest, there are plenty of enemies that he has. How much they would cooperate with you against one of their own, I don't know. If you remove him, now let's speak realistically here. I don't know how big his organization is, but I would bet that they've got well over 100 men in the city. You guys are good. I don't think you're tearing that apart yourselves. But if you take him out and, do it by throwing some sort of disorder in there, create confusion in the ranks, and that's let slip to his enemies, which I can do that. I can, I've got people who can pass messages along, even if I'd rather not speak to the people on the other end. I can certainly let information be found out through channels. So if we get him gone, then that scent of blood in the water, you can be damn sure they will take over his businesses within the day. They are constantly poised to do this. They have entire think of it like, how a business has a continuity plan? Well, this is that level of organization. These scumbags just wait like big, fat, heavily armed vultures, waiting for one of their opponents to slip up so they can swoop in and pick apart the carcass. So if you can get him out the way, then they will do the rest of the work for you. But if you want to approach them directly, I'd say it's 50-50 whether they pretend to go along with it and then just hand you over to him for the fee.
Well,
she has, by the way, also, again, glazed over for a couple of seconds, and you get a ping in your agent, it's a link to public listings. So she's got what looks like a home address. It's a private residence. It's a penthouse in the Corpo district, and then she's got just a list of business addresses. It seems like this organization don't really bother covering their tracks because no one is going to investigate them anyway. They have a business on paper. They put money through that business. No one looks at it any further than that. Inspections and tax investigations and anything else that you might expect are not a thing that happens in Night City. Not if you paid the right people. So you have what you can assume is a fairly full list of the company's holdings and places of operation in the city.
Visited by a puppy. Okay. Let's see. Well, I think sounds like a pretty much typical smash and grab. Try to find him a place so we can extract him, dig up some dirt or create some dirt on the organization so we can pretty much do our best to smear whatever he has already set up so that it's difficult for the organization to continue as is, and then let everybody else kind of pick it apart from there and kind of dissolve it on the back end. I think we will need our whether it's Hijack or somebody else to do some investigation for us. Maybe try to find some way that we can, some kind of something that we can exploit to either get our hands on him or also to, do our best to defame the business. You don't suppose, I know this is really not something you'd be want to know about your father, but have you heard if he's had any, is he into gambling? Does he have any places like that he frequents? Is there any girls he likes? Any places that he goes? Any kind of kinks that he has? Anything like that that we can possibly exploit?
Now, I was only 10 when I left, but even by then, I had the idea. I imagine there's very little that my father isn't involved in. If it's illicit, he probably does it. I'm certain there were drugs around the house. I know there were women that weren't my mother, as well as any of the staff who were stupid enough to be alone in the house with him. I know that he went to various places, and I hear things along the grapevine. I don't know the specifics of where they are, but you've got his home address, and in fact, I don't know if this is still valid, but there's another ping, and you get an agent contact number. That was the last contact details I knew of for him. I've never used it.
Do you have any other questions, Salvo?
No, this is new territory for me.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. But I'll say I'll probably have some more questions for you at some point, if you don't mind. I might have to call you in a little bit, but we'll get to work and see what we can come up with.
Of course, you have my number, and if you can resolve all this without bloodshed, that would just make me feel a lot less responsible. People are already dead because of me. I know I didn't do it, but that's something you have to live with.
Do our best.
She nods. She gets up. Then all the doors unlock, shutters come up, light floods back into the place as much as it ever does down here. So
I'll
any
look
plans?
I'll look at Salvo and say, any ideas?
If we want to disrupt this guy's business, I could try to reach out to some of my nomad buddies, and maybe we can disrupt their shipping if they do any kind of transportation of goods. That's another angle to be disruptive that I can think of.
Okay.
I like the idea of kind of trashing his business reputation more than actually killing or kidnapping him. I'm a little bit more comfortable with that.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I don't know if it's quite going to be enough. I think we need to make him kind of disappear for a while, and maybe. I mean, I would like to see if there's a way we can apprehend him and stick him on a cargo container somewhere, and let the vultures pick the bones for a while.
I might be able to find such a cargo container. Or wait, did you say pick the bones?
Well, just let the other organizations kind
Oh,
of take
um,
care of the rest for us, so that we can kind of not have much for him to go back to by the time he resurfaces or get where he's going. I mean, I kind of want to send him just in a boat, overseas, and
I might be able to arrange his ticket for a spot on a cargo container, either overseas or maybe as part of some kind of trucking convoy going out east,
all right,
which in this day and age is almost just as bad if you suddenly woke up halfway across the Midwest.
all right. I guess we'll see if we can get Hijack to find out any information that we can use, kind of make his exploits known, tie it back to his company. Because it's right now he obviously has this kind of shell corporation or whatever that he operates under, which is kind of stayed off the radar. Doesn't really do much, but if we can tie the criminal organization back to that shell corp, get the media involved, basically just ruin all of that in the name, expose him for who he is, and then put him on a container and send him off somewhere. I think that might do it. That might take care of the rest. Let the other organizations kind of clean up from there.
I mean, I will just volunteer with your streetwise knowledge, since you've put forward some very good ideas. You think that if you were just to, if you could effectively disappear the guy, just kidnap him, drop him in a container or in a truck or wherever you want, and he just up and disappears for a month or two, then one, he wouldn't have much business to come back to, and two, being that weak, you think there's every chance he wouldn't come back to the city because he would just be seen as an easy target and picked off by someone with fewer morals than yourselves. So if you want to go that route, it's absolutely viable, and you think that again his competitors would probably do the rest for you.
Okay.
So
If you guys want to think things over for a minute, because we're it's just coming up on like an hour and 20 minutes. So if you want to take, what time is it now? Okay, so it's just gone past. So if you want to take till 22, we have a quick break. Come back at 22, and that gives you time to think through the options if you like, and see if anything particular comes to you, or if you prefer one option than another. Does that sound good?
I think
Okay.
that sounds good.
Yeah,
Give me a chance to get a fan. My camera's been overheating because it's now getting hot in Florida, so that's why my camera's been turning off and on. So I've had to turn my fan that usually blows on me to blow on my camera. So that'll give me a second to get another fan. Keep my camera cool.
See, bonus. Well, my motivation might also be that I'm at the end of my beer. So
Great. All right.
right, cool. Right, we will be back in about 8 minutes. Don't go anywhere and chat away. See you in a bit.
All right. See you.
Well, that was a late placeholder.
Thank you. I was able to get a fan for my camera. Be able to get a fan back on me for the most part, which is good because it's getting hot, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep doing these garage streams like this. I might have to go in the office. But I forage in these heats, so you know, should be a vacation. It should be vacation for me being here like this.
Well, I'm in my office, but you just prompted me to go crack the window open and get some air in here. Even over here, it's getting slightly warm.
Hmm. Can they hear us right now, or are we?
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, welcome to our inane chatter.
Yeah. Is Salvo back?
Oh. Yeah.
Maybe. Get in there, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
So do you want to just? I know that we don't have hijack here, but I'm trying to think of you like utilizing somebody like with his skills to do some things. How do you want to play that? Do you want to roll for him or?
Well,
Here, let's get
I
back,
was going
let's
to.
get back, and then you guys
Yeah.
can.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
And now everybody can see you. Yeah, and I think
Cool.
Salvo's image is all the way over on Halil's. We need to move that.
Well,
Put that on a template.
oh well. It's not the end of the world. We can work with it.
Wow.
Now it makes sense. I fixed it.
Cool. Do it live. That's what they'll say. Right.
I'll do it live.
Okay, so we are back, and yep, to answer what you just mentioned, Locke, there's going to be a little difficulty in. You think because Heil is in some of he's clearly badgered Plague into giving him some of those stims, so he doesn't need to sleep for the next 24 hours. And he's in full on drill sergeant mode with those guys. You think if you borrowed hijack, it might be noticed. It's not definite, but if he's gone for more than a few minutes, that Heil might get on your case, and maybe that's a conversation you don't want. However, if you cast your mind back a little while, I say a little while, 7-8 years ago, back when this session happened, then you did encounter, you encountered someone who you still don't know the name of. He was known to you as the Lullaby Killer, and you managed to end that situation without murdering anybody. You've got a good history in that department. As you uncovered his true motives. And you recall that as part of the agreement for you guys walking away and leaving that situation be, once you'd found out the truth of what happened, his contact, Wraith, did leave you with her contact information. And she is, although you don't know where she works, you know that she is in the IT department of a prestigious law firm that had been enjoined to cover the tracks of the operation you uncovered there.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
And she did offer that in the future, if you needed her, and it wasn't trivial shit, as she put it, then you could give her a call and she would help out if she could.
Okay. That would definitely help. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking, Salvo, maybe. I mean, and maybe have some ideas too. But if we can, well, what do you, if you thought for a few minutes, do you have any ideas how we might go about this?
Well, maybe I should go talk to some of my nomad buddies and see what we can set up in terms of getting him out of the city and getting him far away once we nab him.
Okay. For some reason, I had an idea of a cryo tank pop into my head. I don't know from where, but I don't know if that's something we
go chat.
Put them in
what's
something
the,
like that.
What's the big med corp? Isn't it like biotech or something?
Yeah,
we'll go rip them off.
Well, I mean, that's where trauma is Black Plague is. Might have some connections there. I'm not sure if that's something he might be able to swing for us, but
he should at least be able to get us some sedatives, I think, which would be good.
Yeah,
right. So we can knock him out and keep him out for a good while, so he's well on his way.
Okay.
Right. We don't want a Arnold Schwarzenegger commando situation here. If you've ever seen
Yeah,
him.
Yeah, it's definitely, and I don't. I'm even trying to think of how we're going to extract him because between you and me, not having our full team available with them trying to shore up the defenses here, I don't know how much muscle we're going to be able to provide. So I have a contact, which it just dawned on me that I could reach out to. And possibly find some dirt. What I'm hoping to do is, find some kind of location that he goes to, like, if there's just some time where he's out of his usual element, where he doesn't have a lot of his, personal guard around. We might be able to stage the ambush or something, and get him out that way. And then I also have a favor from the Yakuza that we might be able to get a few extra people to help us out. From a while ago when we helped save, and I think you were there for that when you drove, I believe, when we got that young Yakuza boss out of the Scottish Highlanders motel.
Okay.
Her chief of security still owes us a favor, so perhaps we can get a few of her men to help us out.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of one of the questions, right? Is how much, like we could try to do like a smash and grab to get him, or we could try to do something more sneaky, like if we could pretend to be some organization that he might want to meet with or deal with that could get us close to him, and then somehow separate him from most of his guards.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's we can't really I don't doing anything direct. Even going to his house, I'm assuming he has security set up. Would be more than we might be able to handle, especially since we're not going to be able to have Hijack help us out, although we may have somebody else who could help us. But so I'll do some digging on my end then, if you want to check with your Nomad
We don't have
contacts.
any connections in with any of the law enforcement people, do we?
It seems like Plague does, but I haven't met them. So unfortunately,
Okay. I mean, one thing that would be great is if we could just have like a police officer or somebody pretending to be a police officer, say, try to pull him over or arrest him on some minor but trumped up charge that he thinks he'll be out of. He'll be let loose within 24 hours or something like that. But then instead of taking him down to the precinct jail for holding, we throw him in a shipping container and ship him off.
I mean, I do have leverage possibly over a particular sergeant in the Night City PD from his dealings with the with one of his lieutenants. So I mean, I could try to blackmail him into assisting us, although that's going to start us on a whole string of right now we haven't dipped our toe in that pond, and once we open that door, it's going to be hard to close it. So, but that is an opportunity. We could get him to set something up for us, possibly.
Yeah, I would rather have somebody we can buy off rather than blackmail.
I don't have anybody for that.
Okay. Well, it's a possibility.
Did, but I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, if we could, set something up, and have him get arrested on Trump charges for something, and then when he's getting transported, he happens to get lost on the way and ends up in a shipping container. I mean, that does sound like a pretty attractive deal, but there's eventually we're going to have to talk to that guy because I need to find out what's happened to the officers that he's been with. So it definitely is a possibility. But let's talk to I'll talk to the net runner that I had met and see if any leads come out of that. It looks like there's a good opportunity where we don't need to involve the police, then maybe we can do it on our own. But if that comes up as a dead end, then that's another opportunity we can keep in our back pocket.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's good for us to put a lot of different options on the table, and then we'll figure out what looks best. See what we can get to work. But those are my ideas.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Okay. So I don't know how you want to run this, Panda, but I have some people I need to talk to, and Salva's got some people he needs to talk to.
I am here. I am at your command. Tell me who you'd like to talk to, and we can do it.
Well, I'm going to drive out to see my nomad family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give them pretty much the whole rundown. And I'm going to see if they could help arrange. It probably would have to be through a different nomad family that we know, because my family's pretty small. It's only like 12 people. And we do mostly land-based stuff in the Southwest. But they're a well-liked, pretty honorable nomad group. So they might be able to know a group that, I forget what the nomads on the sea are called. I thought they had a special.
When you do this, would I be able to kind of catch a ride with you in the van and make my calls while we're driving out?
Sure, we can go together. I'll introduce you to the gang.
So I just had an idea. I mean, Mrs. Hahn, they do a lot of business, and maybe Sally can secure some business for them. Maybe, they help us out with this. Sally can help them get a few more of Mrs. Hahn's contracts. She likes to move material. And she also does business with a few traders that come by. And so maybe, we might be able to have Sally help us trade some transportation contracts for this smuggling operation. And that way your people get a little bit out of this instead of us just asking for another favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without making you talk all that through, because you've just done an explanation of what you want. If you want to ask Sally about that, do you want to do a conversation roll and see what she thinks about the feasibility of your idea and whether she can talk her aunt into modifying her business plans? Whatever happens, if she does agree, she will say that it'll probably take a couple of weeks for the dust to settle and her aunt to calm down before any deals can be done. But let's see that roll first.
All right, so I think we have some chat. Chat has been participating quite a bit.
We do indeed, which may have been also part of the reason that I wanted a roll there, because I thought you should get the benefit from it. Yeah, that brings you to a 17. Sally is, she.
I didn't actually roll that. I think that's my old roll.
Is that? Sorry.
I mean, I would love to take. I would love to take the success, but
no. Honesty, is best policy. It will be rewarded at some point in cyber heaven. Oh, there we go. It's our end. Jesus has answered your prayers. So yeah, with that 17, then Sally is immediately, she's glad that you guys are getting straight onto this, and that you've not kind of blown off her concerns, considering that she didn't, she'll do what she can, but it's not like she's offered you any extra pay or anything for this. She's just hoping that her aunt will be grateful after the fact.
Doing favors are worth just as much as money, as far as I'm concerned. So
but yeah, she's pretty certain that she can, if you can pull that off, if you can just have him disappeared for a month, whatever, just for a significant period of time, enough for his enemies to take over and settle into their new positions, then that will do the job. He won't be safe to come back to the city at all. And that, she thinks her aunt will show her gratitude for that and would be up to, within the realms of normal business contracts, but to throw them some extra work in exchange for their assistance.
There you go. So at least you got something to bargain with now, Salvo.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys are driving out into the Badlands, into the wild outside Night City. Now, forgive me if you've given me these details. It has been a while, Slavo. But did you ever detail out like the actual people within your clan, tribe, whatever they want to call themselves?
It wasn't super detailed. I just know that it's about 12 members strong. Basically, they have a pretty good. They're pretty honorable. They don't really. They're one of the good guy nomad groups, I guess you could say, even though they're small.
Okay.
And they've had some run-ins with gang members out there, and I guess maybe bad nomad groups out there not really trying to help rebuild and get things going, but just kind of trying to really extort people.
Okay.
So we've had some bad run-ins with them. My character's personal background is like I had a girlfriend I loved who died in a gang fight. And now I really hate that gang, but I never worked out what exactly the gang is called. So I don't know if it's a huge gang or a little gang. I'll let you mess with those if there's something you can do with that, I guess.
No worries. So you don't have anything particular in mind? You're not going to object if I take some artistic license with inventing your nomad family now?
No, go for it.
Cool.
Right. I'll just say they kind of sent me away to cool off after my other girlfriend sort of teamed up with this guy who had hired me for a job, but then she sort of went behind my back and decided to hook up with him. They screwed me on the job and they framed me for the crime. So I'm technically a wanted person, although it's not like a huge crime, so nobody's really looking for me that hard. But because of that, the Nomad kind of wants me. They're okay with me coming around every once in a while and getting favors and stuff, but they kind of want me, for the most part, to stay more in the city until the heat cools off.
Yeah, cool.
And my guy cools off. He's kind of he's kind of had a he's sort of angry right now. He's not a bad guy, but he's had some bad experiences.
Yeah. So you've been put on a bit of a timeout, but you're not frozen out permanently. It's just you need to
lay low for
chill and be less of a liability. Come back when your head's straight.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Come back when my head is straight.
Yeah, we're not so not so low key lately, but
yeah. So you start heading out of town, and let's see. What's your luck stat, Slabber?
My luck stat. Oh, luck.
Yep.
Is 6.
Okay. You're heading out of town. You don't seem to have any real altercations with anybody. The police don't pull you over, and although you see some of the vehicles as you get to the outskirts, there's no one that seems to be, there's no roadblocks. No one seems to be moving to intercept you. There are other people leaving the city, but they seem on their own business and not concerned with you.
Okay.
So you start heading out and you know roughly. I mean, your guys don't have exactly a fixed camp, but you know the sort of area that they hang around in because there's a relatively, let's say it's a relatively secure, well mapped out region that they have. That they know they keep moving around within there. They live within their vehicles, so they don't have to be stationary. But at the same time, this area they know it well. They keep patrols up. They keep the bad elements out, and it just leaves them a little more safe overall.
Okay.
So as you're approaching, what is? Do you have anything in mind for what the protocol is for you coming up and marking yourself as someone who they know?
Well, they'll know me. And whatever vehicle I'm pulling up in is probably one of their vehicles. So,
Oh yeah, and
they'll
that's
recognize me.
yeah.
Um,
That's absolutely fine. But as you get close, I'm gonna say, for the sake of argument, you go into the glove box and you produce it's a road flare, which is blue in color, and you like pop it and hang it out the window because they use that as a marker when people are coming unannounced and without having prearranged it. They don't just assume that because you're in one of their vehicles that means you're friendly, and it avoids the possible. If you're following the protocol, that avoids the possibility of them setting up an ambush and filling you full of holes just to be on the safe side.
okay.
So you pop that flare, and you do see you see at one point there's sort of an overhang point, and you catch an outrider on like a heavily souped up sort of dirt bike. Just notes your approach and then heads off. And you see the direction that he's heading in and kind of correct your course because you guess he's going straight back towards wherever the camp currently is, which proves to be correct. So as you pull up, then there's not that much because they know who's coming in and they know that it's likely to be safe. There's not that much of a fuss about you turning up, but a couple of people sort of they don't leave what they're doing. Some people are making food, people are looking after. There are a couple of kids within the group. Some people are working. They're perpetually working on vehicles. But someone breaks off and walks out to meet you. She's a middle-aged woman, maybe late 40s, early 50s. Hair is almost a buzz cut, basically. Graying, almost completely grey, like little speckles of black in there, but almost completely grey, turning to white at parts. And she looks tough. Like if this lady looks like she's made out of beef jerky or something. Everything about her is sinewy, and it's not. She is not someone who sits around on her backside just making a living in an office or whatever. This is someone who's lived their entire life on the road. Everything that she has fought for, worked for, and she's dressed accordingly. The nomad leathers, the traditional sawn-off double barrel slung at her side, and then she's got a smaller and possibly more practical pistol on the other side, and a sort of like a rough machete over her left shoulder, where she can easily grab and cross draw. But she doesn't pull any of these weapons. You recognize her, and the scar down her left cheek would be something to mark her out from description, even if you didn't know who she was. But this is Mama Rat, and she is the leader of this nomad pack. She strides out and then stands there with like arms crossed, looking towards you, but she's not. She waits for you to get out the vehicle and approach her. Like she's not going to initiate conversation. She's just giving you a hard stare as if she's assessing. You feel like she can read exactly why you're there and what you want.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, hey, how's everyone holding up? As I approach her.
Fine without you.
Mm,
Chew on, boy.
well, I need some help.
Why am I not surprised?
I know, and I appreciate the van you loaned me a few days ago. She's been real good to us. It's got like a truck with bullet holes in it.
Yeah. You better hope that buffs out.
Yeah, we'll don't worry about that. I'll return it to you better than new.
Yeah, you made promises before.
Well, I got a friend who's in a bit of a tough spot. And I know they're not family, but friends are almost as good as family. And
Is this a friend of ours? Or?
No, you don't know her. I don't think you know her.
Then I'm waiting for the point where this becomes relevant.
Well, the point is I know her. So the family knows her through me. And it's somebody who needs help. And I remember when I was a very young lad, and you guys helped me when I was just running around like a street rat in the burnt out ruin.
Nope. So as he's kind of,
and it's not me having the technical difficulties this time.
I'm going to kind of look around and just kind of see where I'm at. Look at some of the vehicles. Is there anything that looks like it's a little rough for wear? I'm guessing being in this out in the middle of the desert in the Badlands.
Well, there's a few that there's one car that's got its rear axles are actually up on rocks rather than a jack. It's clear it's been sat there for some time, so they decided not to leave the jack in place and to wait until they've got the replacement parts, because finding compatible spares is not as easy as it is nowadays. There's also someone who's currently working on an engine, but that car it looks like some kind of give me some kind of. Do you have vehicle tech or basic tech?
Yeah.
If not, yeah,
basic tech.
Nice. Okay.
So that's me.
Yeah.
The +2, that's 21.
Yeah. This you look at this, and this is like you're amazed. This is like a museum piece. this is some sort of retrofitted ancient Dodge Charger former police interceptor vehicle that has been kept going and then cannibalized and converted to use Chew, but whilst maintaining the same, the chassis as this thing is. It's like the my grandfather's axe conundrum. This car is probably a bit like that. Once you've replaced every part on it, is it really the same car? But they have. This is a work of love, and yet it's clearly been towed into the position that it's currently in, and there is the unmistakable pattern of a shotgun blast through the hood, which is propped up, and there is all sorts of fluid pooling underneath the engine, and someone is looking at it with just despair.
So as he's chatting, I'm gonna shoulder on my bag of equipment, and I'm gonna head over and just kind of nod and say it's looks like you have a leak on the third valve through the sixth. Probably need to work on the capacitor, not to mention the carburetor probably needs to refit. Mind if I take a look?
Hey, if you can rescue it, I mean, I've not got much in the way of parts, and to me this looks like a rip out and rebuild, and I can't do that now.
I'll see what I can do, and I'll just start to work on the car.
Yeah. So you get to work on that, and we will bear in mind that 19 is in fact a 21, because we've still got those pluses. Thank you again, chat. So we will see the fruits of that in a short period. So Slavo, when we lost you, you were mid conversation.
Yes. I was just trying to tell her how how this was a friend of mine, and so it's a friend of the family.
Yeah, and she's nodding along a bit, and yeah, okay, my friends is family and family is friends, but at the same time, some members of the family is on the naughty step. So you're gonna have to give me a little more than just, well, it's a friend, so trust me.
It's a woman who
Oh well, now I know everything.
who needs to get rid of her brother in a non-lethal way before he murders her.
Okay, 0 to 60 in one bumbling ass bunch of seconds. Right. So what's my role in this?
Well, all we need is a way to ship this person out, whether it's out over the seas or over land. We just need to get this brother out of town for a few months, and that's all we need to do. So I'm just seeing if we could arrange that trip for him.
See, now you're sounding more reasonable. See, this is so you're talking about a one-way escape trip for someone who doesn't want to be escaped.
Correct. And then if that person wants to come back in a couple months, that's on him. Doesn't matter to us. We just got to get him away for about a month or so.
We can probably manage that. What am I saying? Probably. We can do it. Obviously, these, Chew prices are through the roof. It's a recession or some shit. So where do we get paid? We in a charity.
Well, I don't have much to my name, but I could go back and talk to this woman. She might have something more
Don't forget
enticing to offer.
we did negotiate for some transportation contracts possibly in the next week or two.
Oh yeah, we could get you those. Get you some more work.
Working for the lovely Mrs. Harm. Well, you should have said. Let's see. Got potential contracts. No guarantees there. But your buddy over there, he looks quite handy. Is he going to make a mess of my vehicle?
He's
Is he giving young Charlie false hope over there, or what he doing?
he's got magic hands. He can.
That's between you and him. I didn't ask about your relationship.
If he can't get that running with what's in front of him, I don't think anybody can.
We shall see. If that pride and joy of little Charlie's is up and about by the end of the day, I'm sure we can call that the down payment, and then we can negotiate with the. It's Juliet, isn't it?
Juliet?
Mrs. Hunt. Yeah, that's Mrs. Hunt's first name, Juliet.
Oh.
Yeah, we can we can do the job on spec and negotiate with her afterwards. When I'm sure she will be filled with gratitude.
Yeah, she seems pretty on the level, and if we, I think, if we help her out, it's going to pay dividends in the long run.
Now, obviously, your family, so I would never doubt your word that she wants us to do this and that this isn't going to backfire on us, right?
Nothing's guaranteed out in this land.
That's not really what I wanted to hear.
It might not be what you want to hear, but I'm not going to lie to you. You know as much as I know.
Am I backstabbing this woman or not?
I don't think so. At a game, we're not backstabbing Mrs. Hahn, right? Am I understanding that right?
No. Your understanding of it is Sally is very clear that she knows her aunt, and she thinks that if you do this, then once Juliet calms down, she will actually be appreciative that you stopped her from doing something that she then would have to live with the rest of her life. That you found a less violent option for her.
That's what I thought, but your question threw me. I want to make sure I didn't get confused. So I'll tell her, no, we're not backstabbing her. We're not even really backstabbing her brother because we haven't made any deals with her brother. So no, there's no backstabbing as long as everything goes to plan and everybody holds up their end. Then we should be sitting pretty.
Well, this all goes well. We get those contracts. Maybe you can come in from the cold as well.
I'd appreciate that. I've had some time to contemplate and collect myself. So.
Yeah, sounds real soul enriching. She kind of rolls her eyes. Now let's go see how your boyfriend's doing. and she turns on her heel and strides off towards the charger that's by now Locke is elbow deep in.
Oh, okay. I have to do a quick phone call, so I'm gonna mute myself. It should only take a couple minutes. Sorry, guys.
Cool, no worries. So this woman who actually you've not heard a name yet, but clearly seems to be in charge. Has that air of authority about her that's unmistakable. Strides over to you, doesn't interrupt what you're doing. Just kind of looks over. See what she thinks. She recognizes good work when she sees it. So there's an almost imperceptible sort of approval. Like she doesn't want to outright say, you're doing a better job than most of my guys could, but there's a professional appreciation there. She spots good work, and she's going to leave you to it. And she says, "Anything you need there?"
I'm going to say, sorry, ma'am. Just a moment. What's the guy's name? Little Charlie, was it?
Yeah.
Panda. Say, Charlie,
It
why
was.
don't you give it a go here? Let's try it. Let's see if we get it going now.
He gets in and looking like he's like someone at the deathbed side of a relative as he turns the key and the engine does turn over. Now there's a lot more work to do, but what you've done at the minute is create a stopgap to test it. You've basically cut out half the engine, so it's running as like a V6 for what should be a V12 engine. Because just part of one side of the engine block is gone, but you've managed to slap patches over it just to do like a pressure test, see if the rest of the things are still in working order, and diagnose how badly it goes. You've got it running.
And kind
You wouldn't want to
head.
take the car. You wouldn't want to drive it anywhere at the moment, but the engine turns over.
Yeah, when I nod my head and say, "Well, they just don't make them like they used to." Man, I wish I could have one of these for myself. And not too often you see something like this on the road. And no promises here, but I'm saying at least this beauty still got some life left in her. I would say, all right, you can cut it off. We're good.
Charlie cuts it off, and he is just beaming. His face is just wide, and he's like, "Wow, Mister, I thought she was gone. I don't know what to say." And Mama Rat pipes up and just says, "Yeah, you say thank you. That's what you do. Now, this gentleman has done you a massive favor, because I'll be honest, when this thing got dragged back in, I didn't think we were gonna pull her through. I thought she was gonna be stripped. But
you still got a lot of work ahead of you. I mean, to be honest, anyway, I've had to do quite a bit to kind of bypass what I can here just to see if it's worth saving. But I think you can make it work. You're gonna need to probably find another engine that we can work on. Maybe modifying the chassis a little bit. Maybe bring some parts in. But I think you have something here that can get you to what you need.
Says, well,
But it's gonna take quite a while, though. I mean, it's a lot of work. But I'd be happy to talk to your mechanic and maybe give some pointers and let him know what I think.
says, you know what? You give Charlie here a list of what you think it'll need. He knows his way around. He's not got your experience, but and when she says experience, there's like I'm not going to make you do a human perception roll, and I'm certainly not going to make you waste that valuable +2 from chat. But there's like a twinkle in her eye, as if like, this is her thing. This is guys who know their way around a car is definitely, she gets the urge to have them take a look at her bodywork. So there's a new respect and something else there almost immediately. He says, "Yeah, I think he can take a list, and with your expert guidance, I'm sure you can work it out. And it is greatly appreciated. You just saved your little friend over there a lot of blubbering and begging. Well done."
I'm gonna kind of nod and say, well, I mean, I don't think he wouldn't have to spend too much of a tail. I mean, we got some business coming your way if everything goes right. Could end up being a very lucrative relationship for you in the future. And I'll kind of look around and say, looks like you guys might be able to use a few extra euros. Sorry. Euro bills. What was it called?
Yeah.
In that
Eurobooks. Eddies.
Eddie's coming your way. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Money's always handy, but if it hadn't been for your pretty little hands, then we would have asked for some kind of deposit from Slavo there, and I think we can waive that condition and just wait on this future promise of business. You'll have our support in your endeavor.
So this guy,
we don't want to know any more about it. Let's just say that.
For your own benefit, I would recommend doing that, keeping it that way the best of your ability. I wouldn't let him see any of you or know any connection to your business. We're gonna bring him in dark, and hopefully you guys can keep him that way. Drive him around for a little bit. I don't care where you leave him, as long as it's not here. And just keep him busy for a few weeks, and should be all we need. But I wouldn't let him see any of you.
We can absolutely do that. But if he ain't sleeping and bagged when we pick him up, then we don't pick him up. We'll turn around and drive away.
Yeah, we'll take care of all that. But obviously, we once we pass him over to your care, I can maybe arrange to have a few more sedatives on me. But hopefully do you need me to source any of that for you, or do you have methods of?
Oh, that would definitely keep him quiet. But just enough for a couple of days, and then we can have him. There may be a couple of transfers involved, just for security's sake, to make sure that when he gets to his final destination, he doesn't know who it is dropped him off.
Yeah, I mean, even if he ends up in Europe somewhere, I don't really care. I just don't want him here or anywhere near here when he wakes up. As far as I'm concerned, give him a gallon of water, take him out the back door, and drive off, and that'd be fine with me.
We can definitely arrange something. And might I be right in assuming that you you do not want to know the finer details from your end either, as long as you know that he's still alive, but not in the vicinity.
I think it proof of life when you deposit him would be valuable to us. If you can,
Yeah,
maybe,
we can
contact
snap him holding the whatever Shanghai scream sheets. We can do that.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate you guys helping us out with this. We're just trying to get him out of here. Personally, I'm not one for we're taking a long road on this. It'd be a lot easier just to put a bullet in him and call it a day, but it's just not the way I do business. So this may come back on us, and I just can't stress enough how you guys not being involved, it's probably going to benefit you. But I appreciate your help, and I'm sure we'll be having the opportunity to do business again. I mean, Salvo's a friend of mine, so if you guys need a mechanic, I'm happy to do what I can to help you guys out when the need arises. I mean, I've been the one that's looking after his van while he's been helping us out. So
I could always use the talents of a man who has some morals and who helps out his friends in need. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again.
And I'm also going to have something for him to wear, if you don't mind. Just as a personal little flair. So just keep in mind when we drop him off. If you just keep him dressed the way he is, I appreciate it. Nice little black cocktail dress I picked out.
Well, I'm never one to judge a man's fashion choices.
I mean, it's Night City after all. Who knows what he's into?
Would be the least of my concerns.
Okay. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. I believe, unless you've got anything specific you want to do, we're sort of you've successfully negotiated that with an excellent mechanics role helping you along. So you have an agreement now. You have a way to get the guy out of the city. You are provided with a contact number. Salvo already had it, but Locke, you find you are pinged across Mama Rat's personal contact number. For whatever reason she may wish to use it. And you know that as long as you give a little bit of notice and arrange a pickup point, then you have a way out.
Awesome. Nice job, Salvo. Seems we got a way out for this guy.
Fantastic.
And as Rob has just mentioned in chat, I don't know if you came back in time to catch this, Salvo, but the chat's excellent, award-winning suggestion of the black cocktail dress has officially now been incorporated into the plan.
What's the black cocktail dress for?
Oh, just choice of attire for the occasion.
Whose
I'll pick them
choice?
out something real nice.
Ours. The one that young Ray Han, Sally's father, will be waking up in.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, so you guys have got your exit strategy. Now you make your way back into the city. Are you? I think you had other people you were going to hit up for information, or is what's your next move?
I'm going to call the as we're heading back into the city. I'm going to call our contact from the last job we did, which was you might have missed this one, Salvo, but we had a gentleman who was He seemed like some kind of a crazy, like, serial killer type person who would snatch children from families and kill the parents, and then would post videos of the killings, kind of like a snuff video online. It was quite a big bounty for him. So we went to take this guy out. Salvo was, or not Salvo, excuse me. Heil was particularly eager to take this guy off the street. And when we were in the process of taking to capturing him, we had found out that he actually was taking these children from a orphanage that had been seeming like there was a matching agency where they would steal children from loved families and then pair them up with other people looking for specific children. And a lot of these kids were put into abusive relationships. It was just it wasn't on the up and up. And this guy seemed like some kind of a cyber psycho, was actually was from this orphanage originally, and was, taking back these children from these abusive families and trying to start a life for them. So we ended up leaving, and the fixer, or not the fixer, but the tech that was assisting him, offered assistance for us in the future for leaving this guy and allowing him to escape with the children. So I'm going to give her a call and see if she can give us a hand.
Okay.
So you gave Wraith, which is the handle that you have for her. You don't have an actual name. Well, you never know. She could have been christened that. You give her a call. After about 3 rings, she picks up.
Hello, Wraith.
Yeah, what's up, dummy?
Well, I wasn't expecting to reach out to you so soon, but I might have to call on my chip.
I'll decide that. Give me a second. You can hear sort of movement noise in the background, and then like a heavy door slamming, and then when the sound comes back, it's slightly echoey, like she's in a stairwell or something.
We're on a secure line.
Yeah.
You're ready to call you back.
Yeah, this is secure. I just didn't really want to take your call in my office. So
I understand.
What do you need?
I've always been, honesty has kind of been always what I've kind of dealt with. It's just easier for me. I can try to pull some dog and pony show, or I can just kind of give it to you as it is. I think you have some kind of moral fiber in your body, given that you've been helping our mutual friend with the children he's been extricating from the families. And so we got someone particular. We got someone we need to extricate from the city. It's a low life that you might be familiar with, and is currently is the leader of the Han triad. And I need to find a time that I can get him out. And so I'm going to need a full work over of his agenda. I'm looking for everything: his habits, his kinks, how he likes his coffee, who he goes to bed with, where he does his business, and I need to find a place that we can extricate him. I think we'll be doing Night City a favor, honestly, from what I've heard about this guy.
Sounds like something I could get involved with. Got any more details for me? Starting point?
So I got his home address. I got a list of his businesses. And obviously we got a name. And what I'm looking for is, I don't have the firepower. I mean, you saw my crew. I mean, honestly, your guy kind of wiped the floors with us, to be honest. So I'm looking for some time where he might be vulnerable, where he doesn't have his, surrounded by, the rest of his goons, and might be vulnerable for a small team of people to get him out. Unfortunately, I don't quite have the firepower to lend to a full assault. Otherwise, I just go to his home address, but obviously, I can't really afford to shoot out.
Yeah, I noticed. Some kind of covert ops team that goes into a sewer situation without any night vision.
Yeah, it wasn't our finest hour, but
smooth move, dummy, smooth move. Okay, give me a sec.
I will never live that down in my role playing career. Not having night vision.
Hey, everyone was there. But she goes quiet on the line for about 30 seconds. Comes back. Okay, I've got some basic information. Yeah. This guy is, to be honest, doesn't look like that hard a target. It seems like a lot of the money trail is so easy to follow, it's laughable. But looks like a lot of their business is done on the basis of they've just paid the right people. Like, does this guy have any firepower? He's not. This is just terrible business strategy. I mean, he's not leveraging the what he has. He's paying bribes left, right, and center, and I can trace them straight back to the phony receipts. I mean, what is this real estate company? They do nothing, and yet they have income. So he's paying somebody to overlook those whatever accounts. This is just poor. I mean, I'm professionally embarrassed.
Well, he's obviously getting paid. He has some source of income. No, it's just kind of strange. So just on a whim, can you check to see if there's any correlation with this particular cafe? I'm gonna give her the details of the cafe where we the AI black site is.
You send her the address. 15 seconds later. Why would you think he has anything to do with that place?
He has money coming in, and he's involved with real estate. So I wasn't sure if this might have been one of his sites that he operated or had sold or bought in the past.
Yeah, no. He said, "I know he has money coming in. I'm just saying none of it even looks like it's from a real estate business. It's shoddy. It's a 10-year-old could do better at covering up their tracks. They just must be paying out bribes left, right, and center for people to ignore their activities." But the second place you sent me that link about, that's it's entirely different outfit and not in the same league. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but I don't think they're one for you.
Well, that might be a conversation for another time.
Yeah, you want to get yourself killed? Yeah, come back to me another day. But yeah, there's no link there.
So this guy, is he is he visiting nightclubs? Is he taking any limo rides late at night? Does he visit any places that might be interesting to me, where he might not have his full force of his security with him?
You got an agent number?
I do. I'll give it to her.
Because none of it's public diaries actually match his noted movements whenever on facial recognition. He's not in the places he's listed to be, so let's take a look in here. And now she will actually have to roll for this, because getting into someone's agent is not actually a walk in the park. It's easier if you've got it in your hand. Ah, she's good. Yeah, you can almost hear the scrolling. There's like faint. There's very rhythmic tapping, like the tapping of a stiletto. But it's the rhythm is exactly like once a second. It's very weird and off-putting, almost mechanical. It's maybe a nervous habit that she does or something. She comes back after about 20 of these taps. Okay. You said you want like some vice that he has or something illicit that he might be doing. Can you narrow it down for me? Like this guy's wow, his real itinerary is just, man, it seems like a fun day out. That's all I'm saying. What do you want? There is everything.
I'm looking. What kind of? I'm looking for a time where I might catch him a little bit vulnerable when he maybe has something private that he wants to do that he doesn't really like everybody around for. Perhaps any kind of brain dance dens that he might visit, prostitution rings, anything that I can, something that's a little bit more off the grid.
Okay. Well, let's look for some targets. Seems currently he only has 2 mistresses. That might sound like a lot, but scrolling through his history, I believe at one point he was up to 5. This guy backs everything up to the cloud. It's ridiculous.
Anyone in his mistress list? Anyone of note?
No, he doesn't seem to.
Suitors.
This is not a man of refinement and taste. This is a man of whatever's available. Not that I'm casting judgment, but I totally am.
Does he have a
type? At least 40 years his junior. That's about all I can say, really. He's got hair colors. None of them are on the heavy side, but none of them seem to be on the bright side either. Like, quite honestly, I don't think those are ways to go, because again, these piss poor paper trails. He's got multiple apartments that they stay in, and he's paid for quite decent security on those. So I mean, I could take out electronic security for you if you wanted, but in terms of if he's got that kind of security, I guess he would have guards on there, and they're within corporate zones. So it's no offense to no offense to you and your merry little band, but it looks like I don't see you taking one of those places without risking losses, and that doesn't seem like something you'd be okay with. And they certainly wouldn't be as gentle as my buddy was with you. So yeah. Let's look down the more socially unacceptable route. Go on.
No, I think that might be worth a shot. Also, seeing if he has any particular meetings on his agenda coming up the next few days. towards
There
the
is
evening hours.
There is one thing that sort of jumps out. It's in 2 days, and I don't know what he's doing, but hang on. Oh, naughty, naughty boy. I think you may be able to find him. Well, in 2 days' time, he's booked a meeting, and there are specific instructions that his personal protection is to be dropped off at the perimeter and wait there until instructed to come pick him up. Now this meeting is at a warehouse, which is unusual for this gentleman anyway. When I look it up, and I'm not judging at all, but there you're aware of what furries are.
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, how familiar are you with scalies?
Not very, honestly. It's something I've seen in some of the clubs in Hong Kong, but besides the surface level knowledge, why don't you describe it for me?
Yeah. There's a certain subset of people who really, really like that reptilian aesthetic. Never seen it myself. So they will have like full body skin mods, and have the scales, the forked tongues, the various eye enhancements, and yeah, seems that really gets Mr. Han's engine going. Yeah, so there's a big meetup there, and it coincides exactly with this unspecified meeting, which he doesn't even want his bodyguards to accompany him to. They're going to leave him at it seems to be a warehouse that's being shut down for a 2-day period. He's only attending for a 6-hour slot, but there's a weekend event going on there, or that will be going on there, and yeah, he's going to a lot of trouble and risk for no one to find out about that.
Can you give me? You said he had a type. I need that information, and if I can also get the blueprints for that building. Obviously, you got the time, but I think that might work for us. Better time. I think that's the best time we're gonna find.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, have fun. I mean, I don't know whether to ask you to take pictures for me or not.
We'll
I
definitely
don't
have
know whether I'll be
photos.
amused or scarred.
Definitely have some photos. Geez, I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna look at the profile that she sent me, or that she sent me of what his type is. Like 4 years senior or younger, excuse me. Blonde, is weight, size, anything like that. Can I get to have a general outlook of what this person looks like for the most part? Fit, fat, short, tall.
So they, apart from the when you said 4 years, it was 40 years.
40. Yeah, okay.
So he is 62, and about 23 seems to be his cutoff. He doesn't go to underage, but it's like that 5-year age range is he tends to. These mistresses might start at 18, 19, but if they get over 22, then they get bye-bye out of the apartment. That's clearly, below his standards. But apart from that, a relatively, generally considered to be standard, attractive, relatively fit, not on the heavier side. But other than that, you've got short, tall, you've got very feminine, you've got relatively androgynous, you've got blonde, brunette, redhead, nothing in particular.
Okay.
She does, however, append an additional something that she didn't mention, and you didn't ask for, but maybe she thought it was amusing. But she includes some of his deleted search history. And if you can find a girl there who looks like a Komodo dragon, then who knows why? That seems to be his speciality, shall we say.
All right, I think we can work with that.
No judgment here, by the way. If this sounds like an attack on anybody, I'm not judging your kinks. This is just what this guy's into.
We're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna do it up. We're gonna get the commodious dragon that we can find. Be a good time.
She's also sent you. She sent a. Yeah, she sent a link to the group that is organizing the event as well. So that is there for you, and it does include it does include a lot of member profiles because it's essentially a hookup site.
Okay.
And you can. I'm not going to make you roll for it. You can go through and pick out a couple of. It's a very specialized thing, even within their specialized community. But there are maybe, let's see, there are 3 women on that site who are listed as they're going to attend this event and fall into the age bracket, and they look roughly like that.
We can help.
Komodo sort of aesthetic.
If I can get a breakdown, just any of them in any kind of financial trouble, looking for some extra money, maybe got in some trouble for some, maybe got some student loans they got to pay off. I mean, they're in their 20s, whatever it is these kids do these days.
She takes a look through the limited information that's on there. Most people tend to be careful about putting their real identities on there. But she does a quick... you get the impression that Wraith has a very good business head on her. It's not just the IT side of stuff. She knows her way around finances. And just by doing a quick analysis of things that they've put on their feeds and, holidays that they've gone on and other such things, she picks out one of them who seems to be, no holiday mentions in the last 2 years, even though she's quite active and updates most of her activities. Doesn't seem to be going out to eat a lot. Doesn't, there's lots of the little things that indicate that someone may be, despite having a fairly active online life, that life is not extravagant for financial reasons.
Okay. So I'm gonna take that information from her, and I'll let her know that I may call her back if I have any questions. But she can send the blueprints of that facility over, and then also if I can have the general area, just kind of exits, entrances, buildings next door that might be applicable. Basically, I just want to lay out the area, and I'm going to call the gentleman that we had met at the night market, who is all into fashion, that provided us with all the different types of absolutely crazy uniforms. And
I believe that was Kin. Let me check. So the fashionista there was, yes, Kin.
Okay. So I'm going to give him a call, and I'm going to tell him that there's an event that's coming up in 2 days. And I want something magnificent. I'm thinking something reptilian, maybe like a Komodo dragon, looking for skin. Whatever I can get that I want something. I know that we've talked before. We picked up some uniforms from him that have been very useful, but I think he can do a little bit more, and I'm looking for something exciting from him, if that's something that he'd be able to provide. I want the bell of the ball. Okay.
Well, darling, what I can certainly fulfill your rather specialist but intriguing request. The question is, how far do you want to go? Are we talking an outfit? Are we talking dermal replacements? Are we? What would you like? Kin can provide.
So I'll give you a call in a little bit, but I'm looking for something snappy. I'll get in touch soon. But I just want to reserve some special time for the bell of the ball. And how's you got any time tomorrow?
Kin can always make some special time for you.
Sounds good. And I'll hang up. All right, and I'll look at Salvo and I say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. So this guy's got some crazy kinks. And apparently he's into some kind of reptile fetish. So I think I found somebody that is a little bit down on their luck, a little bit of financial trouble, but we might be able to turn them into, their dream of, what they're looking for. And I'm happy to provide some financial, opportunities. I really wanted to make this girl look as good as she can. I want to give her the night on the town that she's dreamed of. And all she has to do is maybe, talk to our guy, get him to come down to a private room, and we'll take care of the rest. I got the blueprints. I got everything, I think, so we can maybe make a plan, and maybe you can take a look at these and see if there's a way that we can extract this guy and get him out. Maybe there's a servant's interest or something you can use, but maybe you can figure out a way that we can extract this guy and get him over to your friends, and I'll see if we can turn this bell into the ball and make a night of it.
All right.
Oh man, you're gonna sheezel that lizard girl to entrap the dirty old triad boss. I love it.
Hey man, might as well make some dreams come true while we can, So
Hell yeah. Okay. So to shorthand a couple of things for you, rather than making you go over all of it, I put you onto you've been given the blueprint for the warehouse that you asked for. essentially you can gather. It looks like a bit of a weird location, because if this is some sort of rave type thing, then you'd want maybe more open space, because this looks to be a building that's in use. It's not like an old disused warehouse. This looks like they're basically taking over a place that only works office hours, and they're going to just take it over for the weekend. So all the shelving and whatever's on there will all be in place until you look through that social group website some more, and you find out that a lot of a large specialization or feature of this little subculture is that they like doing the lizard climbing things. So lots have modifications to their hands, knees, feet, so that they can essentially climb up almost completely sheer surfaces, and they're showing off these abilities and skittering up and doing slightly disturbing things in otherwise inaccessible places, because they can, and why wouldn't you? You also get the impression, looking through previous events that they've had, that actually security is not a massive thing here. They rely on careful screening of their members. People pay a reasonable fee to be members of their group, and that tends to weed out people just coming along casually. So they check for tickets at the door, and there's a couple of security, essentially in case people get overexcited or their there's unwanted behavior. But for the most part, they're more, you're thinking like club bouncers rather than corp security, armed guards. This event relies on secrecy. So, although there will be a lot of people there, this is a perfect opportunity to get your target without having any of his minders around or any serious resistance. And since the warehouse is near to the waterfront, if you want to get out that way, then you're good to go. And the roads around there are quite open, so you couldn't pick a better place. In terms of entrances and exits, you have loads of them. It seems like the main floor of the warehouse will be basically one big rave, and then all of the separate office rooms and you don't know what they're going to do with the large room at the northeast corner of the building, but it's marked out as being some sort of their special. They have a surprise event zone at each one of these parties, whatever you want to call them, and this will be their special themed area. In that, well, it looks to be, in general terms, like the staff canteen breakout area during the normal use of the building. So you probably think that the workers wouldn't be too happy to find out if they ever knew what this was going to be used for over the weekend. But yeah, each of the sort of separate offices and things, and the reception area down at the south end of the building will be a separate private room as well, which people use for whatever they want. Rob, everyone has plenty of entrances and exits if you work hard enough.
Do you see anything, Salvo, we can work with?
Well, yeah, we do have plenty of ways in and out. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Is there a roof to this? You say like people like to climb. Is there like a stairway access to the roof or anything like that?
There is external. There's like fire escape access. It's not the sort of urban zigzag fire escape. It's literal sort of straight ladders up the side of the building to a fairly flat roof.
Well, we got looks like we have an exit to the south.
Yeah, if it's not clear, because it is quite a big map, so I don't expect you to go through all of it. But there's at the very least some sort of fire exit on every wall.
I mean, we have one on the north side, so maybe. I mean, if we can just set everything up so that we can just get him to go out the north entrance, and then abscond with him from there. I'm assuming the south is where kind of everything is coming into.
Yeah. So people will be coming in from the south, and then there's obviously the main room, and then you've got the little private rooms off in the south corner.
Yeah, none of them have exits though in the south corner. You're talking about southwest, right? Is there windows or anything?
There's southwest and the southeast rooms as well.
Okay, I see like an entrance an entrance or exit on the southeast corner. Like it looks like it's part of a hallway, but none of those rooms have doors. I don't think it's just the hallways, right?
They don't have doors out. They do have windows out. And if you want to, it's a trivial matter to. It's not clear from the plans, but it's trivial to bring up, previous pictures of the area, listings from when the building's been sold and things, and see that there are windows that look clearly openable. So if you wanted to, say, haul someone out through a window, then that would be possible.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can either try to get them to go out like at the north entrance and into the street and kind of shuffle them out, or we could try to get them out of one of the side private rooms, and get them out there. I just don't know how to. I guess I'll call and the venue. If there's a number, and just say that I'm looking for bottle service, and just leave my my agent contact info. As we're kind of looking at all of this.
Yeah. You ring the number that's listed for contacting for bookings, and you get a very bland voicemail. Someone say, "Hey, this is Jerry. I'm not available right now, so if you want to, if you have any orders for paper or paper products, then please do contact me within office hours. And if you want to discuss anything else, then please do contact me on my private number. Thank you very much. Goodbye."
Okay, I'll try his private number.
He doesn't actually give his private number on there. But this is the number that's been listed.
Okay.
So it's almost like it's a it doesn't take much to figure out that maybe it's a bit of a smoke screen, so that if anyone gets hold of that number, then they get through and think, oh, it's nothing. Or maybe he just works at the warehouse and sells paper in the day.
Yeah. So I'll just say I'm looking for a very special type of reservation, perhaps with some refined materials. And I'll just say delivery on the date, and I'll leave the date of this event, and say if you give me a call back, I'll leave my agent number.
Yeah, within 10 minutes, you get a call back. Oh, hey, this is Jerry. I believe you left a message regarding the additional services.
Oh, that's right, Jerry. I'm looking for maybe something a little bit more private for the couple days from now. If you might have anything available, maybe a private room that I can maybe review some of your products, in the evening, of course.
Oh, of course. If you could you come by tonight, like after 8? You have the venue
Sure.
address?
Yes, I do.
Then absolutely, and I can show you. Although it's obviously not currently decorated, I can show you the our special private vivarium packages.
Sounds fantastic. Should I wear anything, or is
No, it doesn't matter. It's the place will be closed by then. So if you if you want to come in your weekend outfit, that's absolutely fine.
Fantastic.
Okay, I'll see you at 8.
Sounds good.
He hangs up.
Hang up. All right. So I'm thinking we should give this girl a call, and God, I'm trying to think of how we could do this. Okay, so I'm gonna give her a call. What's the guy's name that I have that does all the crazy outfits and stuff?
Kin.
I'm gonna give her a call and say that she's one a makeover extravaganza with the fabulous and wonderful Kin, who is providing her the very special package in collaboration with the event that's coming up in 2 days' time at the Furry Festival extravaganza, whatever the place is called. This is going to be on all expenses paid. Executive makeover.
Oh my God! Shut up! I won the VIP treatment for Lizapalooza. This is amazing.
That's absolutely right, darling. You have a one-of-a-kind treatment by the very talented hands, and we're going to get you set up with to turn all the heads. And actually, we have a special feature for this. There's a little bit of marketing going on. I hope you understand how these things work. It's actually be kind of a Komodo dragon kind of theme. Are you familiar with Komodo dragons?
Oh my God! Oh my God! You are kidding me, right? I mean, is it? Yeah, just a bit. I mean, they're like the coolest thing ever, and I just want to be one.
Absolutely, the kings of the jungle. They tend to be, they don't mess around with that venom. They can take whoever they want, do whatever they want, and we're gonna turn you into the absolute image of a Komodo dragon for this very special night.
I
Yeah.
mean, oh hell yeah! I mean, do you know that lots of people think that they look slow, but actually they can in a straight line they can run faster than a human, and they can climb trees as well. Even though people don't think they will be able to, because they dig in with the claws, and they can climb really really quickly. You cannot get away from them. Yeah,
Absolutely.
awesome.
Garland, we're gonna get you hooked up, but there's obviously there's a little bit of a fine print and things we have to kind of make up. But I'll meet with you here in a little bit and we'll kind of figure it out. How is a little bit later this afternoon? Do you think you might be able to swing by the shop?
Yeah. Give me your time. I'll tell my grandmother died or something. I don't care.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you over at the shop about 4 p.m.
Thank you. Hangs up.
All right. Okay. So I'll give Ken a call and I'll say we have a lady coming in. I'm gonna give her a complete makeover. I'm looking for her to look like a Komodo dragon. The date is in 2 days. And I want something really special here. I want her to look the part. What are we talking about as far as we can do some body mods if you can pull them off in a couple days. But do you have any ideas? What do you think about for price?
Well, darling, where do you want me to finish, and where's our subject starting from? These are important questions.
So I'll
Do you
send
have
her
a
profile
picture?
Yeah, so I'll send her profile that was provided to me to his agent.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. This is well quite expensive if I the little pedestrian work that she's already had done. Oh, I can certainly improve on these. And the eyes, is she attached to the human eyes? Are they negotiable?
I
You,
think we might be able to work with
in
something.
fact, you've seen something on her profile which mentions she's saving up for iMods.
So I think we might be able to arrange. I think she might be amenable to having things altered.
Very well. Do you have a budget?
I know when we were getting work done before, I'm trying to think of a ballpark here, but I'm thinking about maybe 1,500 credits. See how far that can get me.
I can certainly work something out of that. That's a very reasonable figure. I'm glad to see you're a man of taste who knows what a proper service is worth.
Well, as I mentioned, I need her to be the belle of the ball. So,
Oh,
I'm
and
looking
she
for
will be.
full treatment, and so I'm thinking of having her come by about 4:00.
Certainly. In one of my creations, she will be able to command all the balls she wishes.
Excellent. All right. Geez. So I think I will let the gentleman know that this is part of a game I'm running with Sally. and that I'm going to need him to play along. And I know that Sally is a friend of his, and if he can give me a hand and just kind of play along, we're saying that this girl has won a makeover extravaganza sponsored by media interest for the club. And, she's been selected to win this very special makeover.
For a friend of Sally's, never a problem.
Happy we can provide you with something special here. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come out with.
As am I. And if it's okay with you guys, I think as we've done most of the prep work there, and we're getting on we've been over 3 hours now. I think maybe we will leave it there for tonight and finish off the fruits of your labor next weekend. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Awesome. So, as usual, thank you everybody who has come along to see us playing. I know we're a little on the light side for players, but as has been mentioned, that's because we're going through a little bit of a reshuffling at the minute because we've had a couple of clashes, so we may be looking for some new players. If you want to get involved with that, get on the Cyberpunk Uncensored. Yes, thank you, Rob. Get on the Cyberpunk Uncensored Discord, and we will be putting an announcement out about that. Thank you very much for Rob and Cyberpunk Uncensored for hosting us. Please do check out all the amazing sponsors that they have and some special offers occasionally that are available through them. Sirenscape, R.Talsorian Games, everyone. You can see the whole list on the website or on the Discord channel, links for which are below. Thank you for watching my silly little game. I'm Matt, aka Reservoir Panda, and my fantastic players have been Locke.
Hello, I'm Locke. Is this an introduction, or am I supposed to say something?
Yeah. Just give us a little bit of blurb again.
Okay, I'm Burroughs Forge. I do blacksmithing, beekeeping, falconry, and mead brewing on Twitch, and trying to forge some skulls. I think later on this week, which should be fun. Definitely catch me Tuesday and Thursday nights at about 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturdays at about 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Awesome, thank you. And Slavo.
Hello everyone. My name's Mike, and I'm just a player popping in, enjoying the game, and I'm always I'm always sort of bouncing back and forth between Eastern and Central time zone in the U.S. But yeah, that's me. Wish I was more exciting.
Everyone's exciting in their own ways. Thank you very much for watching us. Come back and check out. There's a whole program of things that go on throughout the week. There is constant content on this channel. There are rules breakdowns. There are class and role breakdowns. There are GM tips. There's player tips, I'm sure, in there somewhere. There's a lore about the game, discussions about how to run your game, how to be a better player, how to be a better GM. And there's an awesome Discord community. Get involved in that. And as I said, we're going to be possibly looking for more players to join us on this game once we wrap up this little storyline that we have going. And we may be potentially starting up another game, time to be confirmed as well, to go along with the many other actual plays that go along. that go on the Cyberpunk Uncensored channel. So if you want to get a chance to actually play this awesome game, then get on the Discord, get involved, and let us know. And you never know, you could be here having fun with us. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for getting involved in the chat. And we will see you again same time next week. And it will be reliable again. We will not be disappearing for 5 weeks. See you later.